All right, it's Clemson week,
Clemson week.
17 and a half.
Another battle of the oranges, dude. We've had a couple of these earlier in the year.
Yeah, 17 and a half versus the Tigers in Death Valley Jr. Officially, actually. It's no longer the real Death Valley because of Brian Kelly.
That's true.
That's true.
That is true.
Just don't ask him about his rush offense.
Spoiled.
You're watching Domed in Cuse, the quick hit podcast for real Orange fans. If you love Cuse sports, hit like and subscribe.
All right, folks. So welcome back to the Domed In Pod. Do us a favor, like and subscribe. We would love you to, be a part of the community. So keep sending us questions, keep commenting. We love all that stuff. This is a preview for Clemson week. We know how these go. We're going to do a Clemson team preview. Then we're going to do 4 downs, what we want to see this week, maybe clean up from last week. And then finally, we're going to do a little Fran Brown Round Up. And then at the end of these videos, we like to do a fan call out. So if you guys have any questions, any topics you want us to discuss, we can go ahead and do that at the end of these videos. So just, keep chatting us, keep commenting, and we'll try to work those in at the end of these preview videos. So let's jump right into the Clemson team preview. Clemson, Cade Klubnik. Some call him Cade Scrubnik. I think we were both believers after watching the Texas game last year. I vividly remember I was actually on the golf course in Palm Springs, not to brag. I was on the golf course, and I was watching the game on the phone. And I was watching the first half on the phone. And I remember thinking, oh, look, Cade Klubnik is doing his usual thing. And then at some point near the end of the first half, you texted me being like, hey, Cade Klubnik actually doesn't look that bad. So then I get inside and I watch the second half. And the second half, I am impressed. Cade Klubnik is bringing them back. He's looking as good as he ever has, even better than he looked against SMU. And I thought, wow, that guy looks incredible. Considering that team basically only had 14 points, that Texas defense basically held the national champions, Ohio State's 14 points. They added a late scoop and score to make it 21-7. I was super impressed with Klubnik coming into the year. And I thought, wow, this kid might take the next step. I think a lot of us did. And it is just falling flat on its face this year.
He tricked us.
He tricked all of us.
He duped us. Totally duped this year, I feel. It has not been that same guy. Honestly, it's reverted back to, his first couple of years at Clemson where he struggled a little bit to kind of find just consistent play.
He doesn't want to pass the ball. We saw that last week with Georgia Tech. He does not want to pass the ball.
That's the thing. And that was what it was when he just got to Clemson. When he starts to run and he puts his head down and he's not looking upfield, he's not trying to get the ball downfield, bad things happen for that Clemson offense. And it's happening all year right now. He is tucking, he's running. You can see it in their numbers. He's running the ball a lot, and that's not a recipe for success for them. It just is.
That's the thing, though, is he's a tuck and run guy. He's not running with his head up. He tucks it, and he runs. So the second he tucks it, he tucks it. And that just signals to the defense. He's not keeping the defense on their toes when he's running. It's very obvious when he starts to scramble when he's going to run. So Klubnik has had definitely a tough year. Part of that is Williams has been out all year, right? And he's going to be out, it looks like, for Syracuse, although he's officially listed as questionable, so we never know. As for the rest of the receiving, TJ Moore has not taken that step that they thought he would. He was one of these freshmen that came in with a lot of hype. He has not quite taken the step this year. Wesco has. Wesco looks like the real deal, big-time wide receiver. And then they have Tyler Brown, who's been pretty good for them as well. When it comes to rushing the ball, they actually have another receiver, Adam Randall, who's rushed it 41 times this year for 200 yards. Now, in flashes, you see that he looks pretty good at times, but his consistency as a running back is not there yet because he just became a wide receiver. Just became a running back from wide receiver. So there are flashes, and I think he's going to continue to get better at running back. But for right now, the way that Clemson looks, at least offensively, is not great.
No, it's not a typical Clemson offense. We're used to seeing them have bruising bell cow backs. We've seen all these guys. We've seen Etienne, we've seen Maffa, we've seen Shipley, they have horses back there always, and they just don't have that this year. Like you just noted it, like their leading rusher through 3 games has 41 carries. Like that's not Clemson. They are not pounding the rock. It hasn't been particularly successful for them this year. Like Randall's been okay with his touches, but they're clearly not using him as a bell cow back. And like when Clemson has played through the years, whenever they've been good, they've had a guy that they're relying on in the backfield. And it's a part of the reason why their offense just hasn't been successful. They haven't been great running the ball.
They haven't. They really haven't. And then the passing hasn't been there either. As we get to the defense, basically their starting defense, the 2 DNs they have, Will Helt, who's a Purdue transfer, he's maybe been their best player so far. Then you've got TJ Parker, who he's probably a top 5, top 10 NFL draft pick. Speaking of top 10 NFL draft picks, they also have Peter Woods, probably a top 5, top 10 NFL draft pick. He's probably higher, right? He's probably goes before TJ Parker, I would assume.
Yeah. I think TBD, honestly, based on the years. I think Woods is like the higher floor prospect, right? Like he's just like projects as a rock solid defensive
middle
tackle,
of the line defensive guy. And then also Capehart. So that rounds out their 4 on the defensive line. To echo Fran's words, they're fucking nice. They're
very good.
Unbelievable. Like Will Helt, who's kind of come from Purdue and been a standout, is not a top 10 NFL prospect, and he's playing next to 2 of them. So, their best player has been kind of surprising. And then Capehart's another guy who, we've noticed watching their games this year that he just looks really, really good, right? So it's like, it's another guy that we maybe we didn't know what kind of level he was going to give us, but he's part of that elite level. So all 4 of their guys on the defensive line are about as good as you can get in the country. And they've been playing like it, to be honest. It's the one part of the Clemson team, 100%. In my opinion, that's actually like lived up to the hype this year. And the hype was big for Clemson.
100%. I was hoping you were going there. Like they've showed up this year. Like this Clemson defense, particularly this front 4 and front 7-ish, if we want to call it that in the modern college football, like they've been very, very good. Like this is a scary group. And like for a Syracuse offensive line that has been tested this year, at times has looked good, at times has not, right? Like this is a massive, massive test and probably the best defensive line we are going to see for the rest of the year. Maybe the best defensive line we will see all year.
And Tennessee's pretty damn good, dude.
Tennessee's good. Honestly, I think this group is better. Like you're looking
they are.
At the top
I think I agree, but I'm
group.
Just saying, like Tennessee's no slouch. It's not like we've played, directional schools all 3 games. Tennessee is a top defense, top defensive line, and I don't think they're nearly as good as Clemson.
No, I mean these 2 guys, Woods and Parker, might seriously be the 2 best defensive linemen we see all year. Like, like this is just a unit that we need to really be focused and have a great week of practice and realize like there's dogs on the other side of the field here. Like we got to show up this week and we got to be ready to play.
Speaking of dogs, when we jump into their linebackers, they've got Wade Woodaz and Sammy Brown. Just 2 classic Clemson linebackers, man. Those guys are scary. Those guys hit like Mack trucks. They're looking to blow your head off when they can.
Totally. I mean, Clemson's just always got one at least white linebacker who's just hit me a little late, mean, just a mean guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, you just don't want him around your best players, around your quarterback. Like, he's always getting an extra lick in. Like, these guys.
They're going to have to keep Angeli kind of clean. Then finally, on the back end, just a few guys to spotlight because, obviously a lot of guys play in the secondary, but a few guys to spotlight. Hannafin, who's a safety. He actually leads them in tackles, which, as we've talked about at Syracuse, not a great sign for your defense, but again, he's a little bit of a thumper. And then they've got Avion Terrell, he's their stud cornerback. He's really, really good, right? He's probably going to be an NFL draft pick for sure.
Brother's an NFL player.
Yep. And then you got Ricardo Jones, the other safety spot. And then you've got Ashton Hampton at the other cornerback spot. So, a pretty loaded defense that the defense hasn't played terrible. They played pretty decently against LSU, who's a decent team. And they played pretty well against a tough Georgia Tech offense specifically. And so, the defense is not the problem of this team. I think their biggest problem is offense and really moving the ball consistently, holding on to the ball, as you've talked about, not really running the ball as much as we would expect from a Clemson offense, and more so running, with Klubnik, which isn't the best thing for their team, in my opinion.
No, it's like, well, I'll continue to say this, and I know we've harped on it already, but like him tucking and running is not great for Clemson. It's just
No.
not. Like when he starts to do that, that means they're desperate. Things aren't working out, and he's just kind of breaking down and panicking a little bit. Potentially lucky for them, Syracuse's defense has been the remedy for a lot of things offensively for other teams, and so this will be a big barometer, I think, for the defense. Like, can we try and keep this offense in check like some of the other teams they've played have, and make this a close game?
All right, let's hop into the 4 downs here. Mr. Tav, why don't you take us away?
Yeah, kicking things off. First down. I think my first one here is we got to protect the quarterback this week. We've talked about this multiple times here. This is the best defensive line we're going to play, I think, all year. Like between Woods, Parker, talk about Helt. Like they've got a ton of dudes on this defensive line, and they're going to get after the quarterback this week. We have got to shore up the protections. Like we cannot have any more blown schemes, blown assignments, blown calls. Like we cannot let Angeli get hit the way he has been the first few weeks. We've given up 8 sacks as a team this year. That's not good through 3 games, particularly with the opponents that we've played, like including UConn and Colgate. Steve is taking way too many hits, and we've got to protect him this week. And like, I think we're going to touch on it in a later down. Like him getting hit leads to other very consequential plays or puts us behind the sticks. It's just bad for us overall. So yeah, first down, we've got to protect the quarterback and make sure he stays upright this week.
All right, I totally agree with that. Second down for me is going to be we got to cut out turnovers. We can't turn the ball over against this team. I think they have like 5 total turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, something like that. So we have to be careful with the ball. They do have guys on the outside who can make plays. That's something where we're going to put our defense in a bad spot and give that offense confidence that we don't need to give them, right? Because that's the thing. They haven't proven that they can consistently go up and down the field against teams. So what we don't want to be doing here is giving them short fields, right? You don't want to give an offense that's struggling some early momentum, right? Because that can really kill you. So what we want to do is if we're not gonna, move the ball, we have to be punting. I don't want to turn the ball over a whole bunch in this game again and give them opportunities to score because they've really been struggling.
I'm with you on that. We got to protect the ball. Just can't happen this week. Cannot happen this week. It's like very simple. We cannot turn the ball over against this Clemson team. It's a struggling offense, dude. Like we don't need to help them out while they're trying to figure their own stuff out. Like let's not make it easy for them. Let's not hand them something. And I think it even kind of goes back to the protection thing. Like that'll help us take care of the ball. Like we shore up our protections. Steve's not taking big hits. Hopefully keeps him upright in the pocket. It hopefully kind of should build off each other. So I totally agree.
Totally. It's on everybody to take care of the ball. So it's very, very important in this game, more so than in other games, just because, like you said, you are going to get up against a team that's struggling on offense. That I think this is going to be another one of those games where it's very important to dictate the pace at which this game is played. If Clemson is getting just a ton of offensive chances and their defense is just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and they're just getting chance after chance after chance, that's also not great, right? And if you're giving them the ball back on turnovers quickly and their offense is getting more and more reps, eventually it might click on you, right? And that's what you don't want to have happen is they figure something out and they start clicking against you, right? Let's have them start clicking next week. Let's not make Syracuse the elixir defense where everything starts to click against, which is kind of what we've been.
Exactly. You don't want to be the elixir defense.
No.
You see those around college football everywhere, and it's just not a good sight.
There's nothing better than when my offense is struggling, but this is a get-right defense. They're going to give me a quick elixir, and I'm going to be ready to fucking change the world after that.
100%. So moving into third down here, it's a little redundant, but I'm just flipping to the other side of the ball with this. I'm just going to say it like we have got to hit the quarterback. We need sacks. I don't care if it's just a counting stat or people want to give me that nonsense. Like I want 2 this week. I want 2 sacks on this questionable offensive line. Like not only have we only had 3 sacks as a team this year, one of them is by Brahim Long, who's a safety. The other is,
and that was on a trick play.
on a trick play, right? And he made a nice play in the backfield, like nice play by him, but that isn't
Not
like
a traditional
pressure.
sack.
No. And then Jamie Tremble,
Who's
a
a tight
converted
end.
tight end
Yeah.
who started playing linebacker a month ago, has another sack. Like, that's just simply not good enough playing UConn and Colgate like we talked about. I'm trying to see a Cade Skrubnik appearance this week, right? Like, I want to hit him. I want him tucking and running. I don't want to give him time to get the ball down the field. We need to be in his face. Like, we need to make it a mission to make him uncomfortable. Like, it should be. We need to see Cade Skrubnik this week. That should be up on the bulletin boards in the locker room.
Another key feature of an elixir defense, when the quarterback can make an espresso in the pocket.
100%.
You know, when that quarterback's able to sit there, he's reading the paper, he's having a little biscotti with his espresso, he's just sipping it down, doing nothing back there, and you can't even get two-hand touch on him. That just gives offenses so much confidence, so much life, and we've been doing it all year, to be honest.
We have. It happened last year too. Like, we struggled to get pressure on the quarterback. Like, we've got to make them uncomfortable. We've got to speed them up. Like, it's the reason why edge rushers in the NFL get paid the big bucks. Like,
the big bucks.
You need to be able
AKA
to hit the
Michael Parsons.
Dude. Exactly.
And Jerry didn't want to pay him. And look what that got him. A super team in Green Bay. All right.
Jerry's melting, you know?
Yo, him being offbeat with the celebration in the locker room, that was
amazing.
So funny. That was so
honestly,
funny.
I love Jerry in 2025.
Me too. I mean, that guy is great for if you're not a Cowboys fan. If you're just like an
100%.
NFL fan and you just like kind of enjoy a little bit the Cowboys misery, that he's great. He's great.
Totally. He's just like, he's taken like the Al Davis mantle of like owner who should not be making decisions.
Cartoon owner, rich guy who knows better than everybody. Totally.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the fourth down here. Red zone conversions. I think it's something we talked about early in our preseason preview about. It was a crush in a six-pack. What are some important topics? What are some important things for Syracuse to do well in order to have a successful year? And red zone conversions is always one for me. Third down conversions and red zone conversions. But specifically against this team, red zone conversions is going to be important because, again, what we don't want to do is give this team shorter and shorter fields. So if you give them the opportunity to tie the game, only having to move the ball to the 40, that's a shorter field than them having to go all the way to the end zone to get a touchdown, right? You want to put pressure on this team to have to score touchdowns because that's going to make Klubnik have to go the whole field, not just go to the 40-yard line and kick a field goal to beat you. You know what I'm saying? You have to make him go all the way down the field and score touchdowns. How do you do that? When you're in the red zone, you convert. This year, we're converting at about a 60% clip for touchdowns in the red zone. Overall, we're converting at 81. Neither of those metrics are bad. Neither of those metrics are good. They're probably middle of the country at the end of the year, 80 and 65. It's probably very middle of the country in terms of where you would be as an FBS program in that situation. So if we're going to beat Clemson, if we're going to pull off a 17.5 dog upset, we need to make sure when we get in the red zone, we punch that ball in the end zone. And you know I'm a kick it guy, but this is going to be a game where you're going to have to take gambles, right? Like, I'm a kick it guy, but I also understand circumstance. I also understand opportunity. And this is going to be a game where you're going to have to take a few chances. And so if you take a few chances on fourth down, especially early in the game, I'm kind of all for that. As we get in the second half, it becomes, I think, more of a points battle, especially if you're close. And then I think you want to take as many threes as you can. So maybe you get a little bit less aggressive in the second half, in my opinion. But certainly in the first half, I would probably get pretty aggressive in terms of trying to punch the ball in the end zone when I'm in the red zone.
Interesting kick it guy. You know, that's an interesting take. Honestly, I'm going to need some live input from you on every potential kick it situation throughout, just so we get.
We'll track it. We'll give it to you in the game review. We'll track it. Give it to you in the game review.
Where it sits. We're honestly going to, just for the viewers, there will be a kick it tracker coming at some point here.
Okay. We're in on the kick it tracker. We're in on the
Cuse games. We can start with Cuse games, right? Let's start with Cuse games, and then we can maybe.
But maybe for some of these big NFL games too, because we were talking about it. I was like furious at the Houston Texans for not kicking it. By the way, how much would they have loved 3 extra points in the bank at the end of that game?
I mean, I think there's a bunch of different teams that wanted that this
right.
week. Yeah.
And I get it. You're trying to score touchdowns. The new age thing is, hey, go for the fourth down. I don't always agree with it personally.
Heard. But no, I agree. Like this is critically important this week. We've got to score touchdowns in the red zone. Like we've been in some of these battles with Clemson, even in particular, we've left points on the board, and all of a sudden we end up in a 3-point game or something like that. And it would have been really nice to have those back. So like, yeah, man, we do really need to make sure though that we convert when we're in the red zone this week. I think we were better against Colgate. We haven't been particularly good at times this year. Interested to see if Mr. Willis plays this week. Obviously, I think that helps our red zone offense significantly when he is in, and we can kind of just feed him the rock, particularly when we get in goal to go situations. But yeah, this is something we just got to be good at.
All right. So Fran Brown Round Up. We're going to do something a little different here. We got a few Cuse topics we wanted to get to. So we're just going to throw those in here in the Fran Brown Round Up. The first one is do or die. You have to choose one to play. Grant or Willis.
You want me to take this first?
Well, this is a topic we've already a little bit pre-discussed. Let's be honest with the viewers. This is something we were discussing offline, and we just wanted to bring it because we thought it was a good topic for the show. So you go first, because I think we know each other's positions here.
I was gonna say I know which way you're leaning, and we're leaning in the same direction. I think probably contrary to what the fan base trigger reaction is, I think Grant is, particularly this week, by far the bigger loss if he does not play for us. Like we just don't have a replacement for him on the defense, like in terms of just experience and playmaking. Like we want him against this Clemson team, and just the physicality that he brings and leadership back there, like vocal leadership too. Like he's a chatty guy. Like he's someone that makes everybody else feel more comfortable. Not to say anything about Willis and what he brings as a talent and honestly a playmaker on offense. Just I think our offense can survive a little bit. We're going to have to throw the ball anyway against this Clemson defense to beat them. There's nothing else. We're looking behind Grant.
That's where I totally agree with you. I think we both recognize Willis is the best player on this team. Like personally, I just think he's the best player on this team. I don't think it's particularly close. However, when you look at what he does have behind him and some of what we saw last week too, with Hart getting some carries, and we've got little Hill back there, we've got Coleman, we've got some guys back there who could play. So obviously with Nixon and the cast of crew we have at running back, I'm a lot less worried about not having Willis than I am not having Grant, and that's because of how good I think the backups are at running back, but also like you're saying, and mostly for the veteran experience side of Grant, because sure, he's a very, very good player, but from the veteran experience side of Devin Grant, like you're going to need that in a pretty hostile, pretty crazy environment when everything's kind of not going your way. Who's going to galvanize guys? Who's going to yell at them? I know we got Deuce, and Deuce is obviously a big guy, but given one more real senior leader who's been on the team a little bit back there is big.
100%. This guy's been there before a little bit. Has played in some big games in the orange uniform. Played in big Maction games. Like knows what the bright lights of Tuesday night are all about. Like, but no, I think like we're in agreement here. Like he's one of the couple leaders we have on that defensive side of the ball, and like we really would miss him sorely if he can't suit up.
And obviously, we need both guys to play, to be completely honest.
We really do. But
I'm not taking anything away from Yaz. We love Yaz.
Totally.
All right. Next topic we've got. This is another one that we've had a debate. This is a debate we've probably raged on for a longer time than the Grant versus Willis one. Yeah. 5 linemen or depth. Personally, I'll go first. I'm a big believer in depth. I think if you're going to give some of your linemen the opportunity to rotate in and out, center maybe being the last position I want to do that with all the time, but I don't hate doing it occasionally. I just think it helps your linemen stay a little more fresh. It makes them a little more effective, especially when you come to the winning time of the game. if your offensive line has been able to rotate a couple times on different drives and, work different guys in there, then when you come to that fourth quarter, your guys are just a little bit fresher. And it's something we've seen a lot more on the defensive side. It's become very popular to just rotate a bunch of guys in and out. And so if the defense is rotating a bunch of guys in and out and they're throwing fresh bodies at you all the time, why wouldn't you try to throw some fresh bodies, especially if you have capable backups? And some of the guys I've seen, I think we do have, some capable backups who are capable of playing a few drives, specifically Byron Washington. There's no reason that guy shouldn't get a few drives a game at this point in his career to go out there and be on the team for a few drives a game. You're not asking him to play every snap, I don't think, at this point in his career, but it is something that I think you also get the benefit of him gaining. He'll gain immense experience from 3 or 4 drives in Clemson under the bright lights against some of the best NFL players, college players that are going to the NFL type players that he's going to be able to see this year. I think experience for some of these guys is invaluable. And we have a ton of young guys. We have, we already have a couple potential injuries in Mack and Weatherspoon on the offensive line. And the offensive line to me is a war of attrition. You're always going to need more than 5. You're probably going to need somewhere around 10 to survive a full college football season the way it is. Maybe more if you're going in the college football playoff. So I think you need the depth personally.
Yeah, I think you obviously need the depth. Where I just differ from you is like after the first couple of games of the year, I just think you kind of got to settle on your guys. Like football is just a game of such few consequential plays where like one disaster or one huge missed block or missed assignment can completely shift a game in a way that like you don't want to risk not having your best players in critical positions on the field at the right times or even at any time sometimes. And so like while I do like the rotating early in the year, and I think it's going to actually prove valuable to us, like with this team, like you said, like we're having injuries with Mack, maybe Weatherspoon. We've already seen guys like Bertrand slide in and be productive and seem like, look, they can stabilize the ship, and they've obviously gotten these snaps, which has been helpful. It's just as time goes on throughout the year, I sort of see it as if you're playing a bunch of guys at these positions, you're probably just not good enough at these positions because you'd want to have your best guys on the field. So
that's where I just totally disagree with you. Maybe you're so good at these positions, you have multiple guys who you want to see the field. Maybe your backups are good enough to play at this level, and if they're good enough to play, why aren't they playing? Why aren't they giving your best players a little bit of respite so your best players can be even more effective in the fourth quarter? I don't understand that mentality. It's like a fake tough guy mentality of like, oh, I have to play every snap because I'm the best. No, you don't have to play every snap because you're the best. You can play a lot of the snaps because you're the best, but those couple of drives that you get to take off, they're only going to make you more effective come winning time. And you're talking about crucial plays in these games. If we're going to have an upset, I would rather my offensive line, the best 5, potentially be at the best they can be in those crucial fourth quarter drives, and maybe sacrifice a few second and third quarter drives where we give our backups a chance to take a drive or two. That's personally what I think, and I'm definitely wrong because nobody ever does it that way, and no one has ever done it that way. So they're never gonna do it my way, right? So I'm just wrong, but that's just how I think of it. Maybe it's just the hockey guy in me. Get the hockey line change in there.
You want to fucking play shifts out here. Like you want them running off the field during the play if they can. But
change them.
I don't think necessarily you're crazing the idea. Honestly, I think Fran obviously wants to see it this way. Like, I think he's seeing it as a way to try and get guys some playing time. I just think as the year goes on, you do want to kind of have your guys. I think it's the offensive line typically is like a group that does better with continuity. The teams that play the most snaps together are the best teams and best units. And so,
how you get continuity?
Think it's important to play a lot together.
How you get continuity? You avoid injuries. You know how you avoid injuries? By not overtaxing your fucking players.
Look,
you don't get a lot of we're not getting a lot of continuity as it is. We got 2 tackles already out, and it's not even game 4. We haven't even played our best defensive line yet. We already got 2 guys injured.
You're right. We need more than 5. I'll never argue with you on that.
I'm just saying. I understand you want to find your best 5, and the last 5 or so drives of the game when it's tie game, totally you got to have your best guys out there. But why not give them a couple of blows in the second and third quarter to make sure they're at their best peak physically to, go out there and do what they got to do? That's just my opinion on it, at least. All right. Next segment. Because we're never gonna resolve that debate. We just disagree.
No,
And you know what? That's
one
okay.
That's a years long open. It's an open case.
That's for the rest of our lives. We're going to be debating that, whether we have a podcast or not. But you know what? That's what's great is, what used to be great sometimes about this country is we used to be able to just disagree with people and then move on and then play a new fun game. And you know what? We have a new fun game for our audience today. And that's what's great. And that game is called One Question. I'm going to ask one question and Tab's going to answer it. And my one question this week is, can we blitz?
It'd be great. It'd be great to see, or at least have one that works. Like, I think we were talking about it. I'll settle for one confusion this week. I want to see us confuse them one time with our defense. Like, good Lord, like, I'd love to see us just blow up a play that they have going, like, somewhere. Just come at and hit Cade with an untouched blocker. Like, we just have not seen that this year from our defense. Really not much at all dating back to last year. Like, we've got to get pressure on the quarterback. We've got to make Cade uncomfortable. That's when they are a gettable team. That's when you can get Clemson, is when you get Cade running around back there, tucking the ball, not keeping his eyes downfield. That field gets a lot shorter. You take some of their playmakers out of the game. Like, that's our recipe for success here. Like, we got to figure out a way to get him off his spot.
So I just checked my phone because I forgot what team it was. And I texted you about it last night. Tampa Bay ran the virtual same play that Tennessee ran on us, that delayed blitz, where the linebacker's in the A gap, takes one step back like he's about to go out for a pass, and then immediately rushes in. Completely fooled C.J. Stroud, completely fooled the Houston Texans, the offensive line. They did not see it coming. That did make me feel a little bit better. Like, damn, Tennessee's running some nice concepts out there. Like, clearly they're on an NFL level as a defense. That made me feel a little bit better about that game. But then I thought to myself, I was like, when was the last time Syracuse done some shit like that?
We don't. And honestly, I actually saw that concept again at the end of the Raiders game last night. The Chargers ran a similar concept on the Raiders' last play, and no one blocked it. Genty wasn't stepping up and making that block. But I agree, dude. It would be really nice to just see something on film. It's like, oh, that was a nice scheme. It's like half the time we're not even lined up.
Wow, I didn't expect to see us do that.
Yeah.
So no.
No,
we can't blitz. Okay. Yeah.
No.
History of playing in Clemson?
Not good.
Not good. Let's leave it at that.
Not good. Yeah. Borderline disaster.
Don't look up the record. Don't look up the record. It's just not good.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave it there. And then finally, at least last little topic I had before we had here is I'm excited to see the handshake between Fran and Dabo.
Yeah, I am too. Guys that clearly have at least a budding friendship there between Fran and Dabo, and like, look, two big personalities, two guys that are great for the league. Obviously, like, there was the bit last year where Cuse really got Clemson into the ACC championship and then functionally the playoffs last year. So there's a little bit of like, with something here, Dabo. Why don't you give us a little bit of love here and maybe send us out of Death Valley with a victory? But it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm excited. Dabo's mad as hell right now, and I was saying this to you. I was really wishing that Georgia Tech was able to pull out that win, because that would have just made it so much better for us. Like, oh God, like, I mean, just the idea of them being so pissed off. Somebody was like asking Dabo about his job security or something. He was like, if they don't want me, then they don't want winning. And if they don't want to win anymore, then they can fire me and I'll get out of town. I was like, dude, no, like, he's so pissed. Like, oh my goodness.
100%. When Dabo or coach starts talking about like getting kicked out of town, that's not a good situation for
especially when he's never getting kicked out of town. Like, let's be honest, Dabo's not getting kicked out of town.
I mean, they would be morons to get rid
of. They're
Dabo.
not kicking him out of town yet.
Like, you cannot get rid of that guy at Clemson. Clemson was like the most middling program ever before he got there. Like,
they'll be the most middling program after he's gone too.
But I expect them to come out ready to play. Like, we can't have another lackadaisical first quarter that we had our first two games of the year. Like, Clemson's going to come out ready to play in this game. Like, there's no jokes about that. Like, Dabo has plenty of ammo to light a fire under this team. Like, we've got to be ready to play from the opening kickoff.
I mean, what do you think the chances are of an upset?
You know, I actually feel, and it's probably odd, we haven't talked about this yet. I feel better today than I did to start the season of an upset. Even though I don't necessarily think Syracuse is as good as I hope they would be at this point.
Clemson's a lot worse.
I don't think Clemson is anywhere near as good as I thought they'd be. And
no, Clemson's vulnerable.
And I think they're vulnerable.
Are we the team to pull it off?
Our offense can produce. If we can score in this game, I think, honestly, we're going to have a chance to keep it competitive. Like, that's going to be the key. If our offense can put points on the board, I think we're going to be okay. If we can't, it could be a rout because our defense just probably isn't going to be able to withstand holding this team under 30 points or high 20s.
We're the magic elixir. Yeah, we know. We talked about it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
My thing is, we talked about this on Saturday, actually watching the Georgia Tech Clemson game, and this is just my feeling on it. I actually think, obviously a very close game, came down to a last-second field goal, so could have gone either way, right? You consider those two teams fairly even, I would say, right? Georgia Tech wins by 3 at home on a last-second field goal. I mean, that's about as even as it gets between two teams, in my opinion. So if you consider those two teams even, I said this to you, is I actually think we're better built to beat Georgia Tech, who Georgia Tech kind of just has a really abysmal pass defense, which Clemson was not really able to take advantage of. Colorado was a little bit, right? And I think Syracuse would be able to take advantage of that Georgia Tech pass defense. And when we get there, I'm kind of excited to see what that looks like. However, we're not going to have that same opportunity on offense. And one of our biggest weaknesses so far this season has been protecting the quarterback. That just so happens to be Clemson's biggest strength. So in an era of, hey, styles make fights, we're UFC guys. We like to watch the UFC. Styles make fights. Certain guys are going to match up better against other guys. I think we match up better against Georgia Tech because our strengths kind of go at their weaknesses. And they might be able to run the ball on us because our defense is bad, but our defense isn't great in the past either at this point. So it's like they're going to be able to score on us, but we're going to be able to score in Georgia Tech. Can they keep up with us on offense? I don't know if they can. We might be able to luck our way into a few turnovers and stops the way that offense has been playing so far this year. I know Haynes King's a gamer. I'm a big Haynes King guy. He's a gamer. But just the way that team's been playing, not that smart football, that I think we could actually pick that team off. When it comes to Clemson, I legitimately wonder if we can, from an offensive perspective, get enough going because their defensive line is so elite and our offensive line has not taken care of the quarterback. And if we can't score on offense, we know our defense will give up some points.
I'm with you. I think we see the game a very similar way here, honestly. Like, the key is honestly how well our line can protect, and then obviously what that kind of parlays into and us being able to move the ball, obviously. But like, if we can't protect up front, we're not going to be able to move the ball, and that's going to be kind of dead on arrival just in terms of what our prospects look like being competitive in the game. But like, if we can move the ball, the offense is competitive, like we're able to protect Angeli enough to get the passing game moving a little bit, I think we can keep this close. I like the number in this game. I do think it's with our offense, I think we can keep games competitive. And I also don't think Clemson's set up to even put teams away. That's my other point, about this game is they're going to kind of have to keep throwing. Like, they're not set up to even be a team that plays with the lead because they just don't run the ball particularly well, even though who knows, they might run it well on us. That hasn't appeared to stop really anybody against us. But if we can be stingy against the run, there's a path to us keeping this game close and forcing them to have to throw the ball and kind of turning this into the game that we need. But again, to your point, it all is all going to start with up front for us and how we can protect against this elite defensive front.
I mean, I'm looking now. I'm just trying to look now. I think Syracuse has given up 100 rushing yards in every game so far.
We have.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we do that, if we give up, so we gave up 246 rushing yards to Tennessee. We gave up 142 to Connecticut, and we gave up 107 to Colgate. Hey, so if we're tracking like a graph, we are tracking, right? I'm just saying. If we could keep them under 100 rushing yards, that's huge for me in this game. We've talked about it. We don't want to be the magic elixir defense. Right now, we're letting teams just too easily line up and run the ball and run it whatever way they want it, right? They've run up the middle on us. They've run it to the outside on us. They've run quarterbacks on us. They've run running backs on us. They've done screens on us. They've done everything that they've wanted to do in that
Do whatever you want to us.
easy run, short pass game kind of thing. They've just been able to, teams have been able to dice us apart. And again, we've talked about it. What we don't want to do is give an offense that's struggling confidence. And the easiest way for an offense to get confidence is for them to trust it that if they just hand it off to their back, he's going to get them the yards they need. Right? Like
Totally.
if they feel like, hey, anytime we hand it off to Randall, he's just going to get 8 yards, then Cade Klubnik's going to relax back there. And then we might see second half Texas Cade Klubnik, which we don't want to see. Right? We want that other guy who's been here all year.
100%. We can't be an Amsterdam defense, dude. We can't just let people do whatever they want. Like
it's crazy.
Like it just
that's a good line.
We have to take something away, and like I tend to agree, dude. I really think like we've got to try to take away the running game, make them one-dimensional in this game, and if we can do that, I think even some of the pressure on Klubnik will help solve itself because our secondary, if hopefully they can hold up back there, we can maybe get some coverage sacks and start to force him into making some tough decisions. But yeah, dude, like we just gotta. I really do think we kind of got to stack the box and try and take away the run game.
Let's hope we can. A couple turnovers wouldn't be bad if we could get a couple ourselves.
It would be nice to get some. We have not really succeeded in that offseason mission thus far in terms of turning people over.
Who do you think is going to be the key to the game for Syracuse? Who has to be the key to the game if we want to win?
I don't think it's necessarily a one player. I think it's the offensive line as a whole. Like, I think the offensive line just has to protect. If we can protect Angeli and allow us to run our stuff and get the passing game going and allow us to get vertical a little bit, get our boy Gill involved, get JRS involved, get the slot guys going, that's our recipe to win, but it all starts with the guys up front.
Give me a standout linebacker. Antoine, Bryant, anybody. Give me Sparrow. Give me somebody who's going to make a play from that position. Because that's what we need, right? If we're going to get a win here, we're going to need someone to make some plays from that position. Someone who is going to have a bunch of tackles, maybe an interception, maybe a forced fumble, maybe a sack, something to just light this team up a little bit. Because the one thing we haven't seen from our defense is kind of the spectacular, the big plays. There's been times like against Connecticut where they were very solid. They were holding Connecticut up. They weren't really giving a lot. The first half against Colgate, they were kind of great. They didn't really give up much of anything. But we haven't really seen many spectacular plays. A couple interceptions against Colgate, but that's pretty much it. I want to see a spectacular play. I want to see a pick six. I want to see a fumble that puts us inside the other team's red zone to start a possession. Something like that, especially early on in this game. I really think if you can get up on this Clemson team, if somehow we could get 2 scores up on this Clemson team early, they're going to press, right? So if we could score once and then have the defense, get a big turnover for us early in this game and potentially get us to a place where we're up 2 scores on this team, that's when this team's going to start pressing. They're going to make all the same mistakes they've been making. If we let this be a very easy game where we're punting, they're going up the field, they get a 3-0 lead, and then it's 7-3 us, and then it's 10-7 them. They're going to feel very comfortable winning that game in the end, right? They're going to run away with it in the end. But if we can get that 2-score lead, like you're saying, they're not built to continue to throw punches, especially from behind.
No, they're not. I agree, honestly. Like, we've got to start the game well. I think that's what it comes down to. Like, we have not started games well this year. Like, we've got to have a good first quarter. We've got to start with our foot on the gas. I agree. If we can somehow start up 10-0, maybe a 13-3, a 14-3, like that's the recipe we need to win this game.
Even if it's like 21-7 sometime in the second quarter. Just somewhere in that first half where you get up 2 scores and Clemson all of a sudden feels a little bit of pressure. Like, holy shit, we got to go for it. We got to start passing. We got to let Cade try to loosen it up. And Cade's like, uh-oh, I better start hitting my receivers or this or that. Like, that's what you want. You want to put this offense under pressure, a little bit pressing, because they haven't been successful so far. But they do have a ton of talent. You know, TJ Moore and Wesco are supposed to be NFL receivers. Like, Cade Klubnik was supposed to be the Heisman favorite. Randall, despite the fact that he's a wide receiver turned running back, he's a physical monster. You know what I'm saying? Like, they should have a good offensive line. Dabo always coaches up his guys to be good on the offensive line. Like, they should be a good offense. We were expecting them to be a good offense. Don't let them find that groove against us. That's my biggest thing. Put them under pressure. Don't let them find the groove.
Yeah, totally. Don't be the elixir.
Don't be the elixir.